Hello and welcome everyone to another biology class of Fun Scholar. So today I, Shushmita ma'am, am back again with another chapter of class 8 ICSE board, that is endocrine system, which basically deals with glands and the hormones secreted by them. So as the name of the chapter suggests, you can very well understand that in this chapter we are going to discuss basically in detail about each of the endocrine glands present in the human body, the functions related to them, as well as the disorders due to either their over-secretion or under-secretion. So without any further delay, let's start with the chapter. Now, at first, we will need to know, or we will need to have the basic idea about glands. What is gland and what are the types of glands present in the human body? Gland is a type of cells which have got the capacity to secrete some things, any proteinaceous substance basically. So the glands can either secrete proteinaceous substance such as enzymes or the hormones. Now both of them are secreted from two basic type of glands, as you can see over here. First one is exocrine gland. Now exocrine glands have got ducts. Ducts means basically the channels through which their secretions go or get poured to their designated location. And these glands have got examples such as salivary glands and pancreas, which send their secretions directly to target organs. Hence, their carrier is the duct through which they are connected to the target site. The second type is the endocrine gland. The endocrine gland is also known as ductless gland because they do not have any ducts or channels. So how they actually reach their target site? Their secretions, which are also called hormones, are directly poured into the bloodstream. And as you know, blood reaches each and every cell of the body. So through blood, the secretions or the hormone reaches its target site. So this is the basic difference between exocrine gland and endocrine gland. Now, in this chapter, we will mainly deal with endocrine glands because here we are dealing with hormones. The exocrine glands, as exemplified by salivary and pancreas, they secrete mainly the enzymes. And this chapter is all about hormones, so we will be dealing with endocrine glands. So as per the definition, endocrine glands are hormone producing glands without ducts, and their function is to secrete the chemical substances directly into the bloodstream. Which chemical substances? Obviously the proteinaceous hormones. And the hormone, if you talk about what is a hormone, the hormone is a chemical messenger, you can say. We can describe hormone to be a chemical substance or a chemical messenger because it carries the message or it carries the instructions to the target site, and when it reaches to the target site, the target site has got certain receptors with which the hormone will bind and bring about the desired change or desired function of the body. Now, in this manner, hormone can coordinate the functioning of the body. They will flow through the bloodstream, reach the target site, bind with the receptor, and then bring about the desirable coordination or function of the body. Now we'll have a look into a simulation regarding the anatomy of the endocrine system. So here you can see that the human body is represented and all the endocrine glands from 1 to 7, they are actually marked. So if I click on this from 1, the first one is the pineal gland. Pineal gland is a pinecone shaped gland located deep within the brain, and it is best known for producing the hormone called melatonin, which regulates the sleep-wake cycle and the circadian rhythm. So we know that we have all got a biological clock, and this biological clock is maintained by the melatonin hormone secreted from the pineal gland situated deep inside the brain. So this is the first gland. We have started from the headquarter of the body, that is the brain, and the first gland that we have come across is the pineal gland. Next on the list we have got hypothalamus and pituitary. Now these two types of glands or these two endocrine glands are situated very close to one another. Hypothalamus is the region which connects the nervous system with the endocrine system. So it brings about a bridging connection between the two types of system and regulates the functions such as temperature and thirst. That means basically thermoregulation and then hunger and thirst. The pituitary gland, on the other hand, is situated close to the hypothalamus, or you can say below the hypothalamus, and is also known as the master gland because it releases certain hormones which control all the other endocrine glands of the body. Hence, it is also known as the master gland. So together, the hypothalamus and the pituitary bring about the maintenance of the body's homeostasis or the normal functioning of the internal organs of the body. Then if we come down in the neck region, we have got the thyroid gland situated just below the voice box or the larynx, and on the front portion of the neck, that is above the windpipe. It is a butterfly shaped gland and it secretes the hormone thyroxine, and this hormone helps in maintaining the overall metabolism of the body. So we will know about each of these glands functions in details further when we discuss them again one by one. Next, down we have got the thymus gland, which is positioned behind the sternum or the breastbone in between the two lungs, and this thymus gland is also known as the throne of immunity. Why? Because it helps in the development of the T cells, and we know from our previous knowledge that T cells is a type of WBC or leukocyte which helps in the production of antibody. So in other words, you can say that thymus helps in the development and maturation of the mother cells of antibodies. So you can now imagine how important is this gland. Then down in the abdominal cavity, we have got the adrenal glands. It is a pair of suprarenal glands, we can say, being positioned on the top of each kidney, and it releases hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol. These hormones have got different functions that we'll look particularly when we'll deal with this gland. Next, we have got pancreas, which is again located behind the stomach and secretes enzymes and also releases two hormones, namely insulin and glucagon. So pancreas is also known as the mixed gland because on one hand it releases enzymes through the exocrine duct, and on the other hand it releases the hormones called insulin and glucagon as its endocrine function, and these two hormones regulate the blood sugar level. Finally, we have got the gonads, that is ovaries in females and also testes in case of males. They are the reproductive organs and they are also the hormone producing glands because they secrete hormones such as estrogen and progesterone by the ovaries and testosterone by testes in males, and these hormones bring about the regulation of the reproductive cycle both in case of females and males respectively. So this was all about the anatomy of the endocrine system. Now we move forward to more about each one of them. So first we have got thyroid gland. Now in case of thyroid gland, as I discussed, it is situated in the neck below the larynx or the voice box on either side of the windpipe or the trachea. It has got two lobes as you can see from this image, and it is the two lobes, the left lobe and the right lobe are joined by a connection of tissue which is known as isthmus. This isthmus tissue acts as a bridge to join both the lobes of thyroid. The hormones produced by it are called T3 and T4, namely triiodothyroxine and thyroxine. Now, a very evident question comes from this topic, that is, which element is essential for the production of thyroxine hormone? That is iodine. Without this element, production of these two hormones is impossible. So, iodine is necessary for production or proper functioning of the thyroid gland. And coming to the functions, thyroxine hormone, as stated earlier, controls metabolism. What is metabolism? It is the sum total of all the chemical activities going inside our body. It includes both catabolism and anabolism. Catabolism refers to all the chemical reactions which lead to breakdown of a complex substance, such as digestion, respiration, which breaks down a large complex molecule into small simple molecules. On the other hand, anabolic functions means building up functions in which the reverse thing of catabolism takes place, that is building up of a large complex molecule from small simple molecules, such as the process of photosynthesis. You can consider in case of plants, and in case of animals you can consider the process of the building of proteins from amino acids, then glycogen from the storage of the carbohydrate molecules. So the small monomers, the simple type of monomers, they actually club together to form a large complex molecule, and that is anabolism. So both catabolism and anabolism together fall under the category of metabolism. And this metabolism, the speed of this metabolism is actually regulated by these two hormones secreted from thyroid gland. So you can understand that digestion, respiration, heart rate, growth and development, all these activities, and mainly the rate of all these activities is regulated by the thyroid gland. And it also regulates protein production because it is anabolic function, overall metabolic rate and activity levels. So the energy production and also the energy utilization from breakdown of ATP is also looked after by none other than the thyroid gland. So this is a very vital endocrine gland. Now we'll talk about the abnormal conditions in which there is insufficient production of thyroid hormone. So what are the diseases that people can face due to the insufficient production of thyroid hormones, that is thyroxine? So the diseases include the following. First of all, simple goiter. So in goiter, the thyroid gland enlarges due to the lack of iodine, and the neck therefore in the front region where thyroid is located swells up. So this is, and since the secretion is very low, so therefore there will be weight gain, there will be fatigue, sluggishness, then low rate of metabolism. So all these symptoms will be faced by the patient. Coming up next is cretinism. Cretinism will affect the development of the children. As I said, thyroid is related with the development process also, and also the development of the brain. So if in children the thyroid production is insufficient, it will definitely lead to mental retardation and also dwarfism, because the growth of the bones and the muscles along with the age also depends or also is stimulated by the thyroid hormone only. So if thyroid hormone secretion is deficient, obviously it will lead to dwarfism and mental retardation in case of children. And in case of adults, we get to see myxedema, where they face, as I said, sluggishness, swelling of the face and the hands, and again the other symptoms such as sleepiness, fatigue, weight gain, and slow heart rate, low rate of metabolism due to the insufficient secretion. The common cause include low iodine intake. Now iodine is a type of mineral also which is low in the mountainous regions, so therefore people there mainly face such issues also. And if people don't take iodized salt, we know that iodized salt has been in the market for long years now, but it is very important to have adequate supply of iodine right from the childhood in order to avoid such abnormal conditions. Now we will have a look into another simulation regarding action of hormones in glands. How hormones show their action. So here you can see what is happening. I'll explain you. These are the endocrine cells or the cells of the endocrine glands, as you can see, and these are the pink large dots, they are the nucleus, and the green triangles, they are the hormone particles which are being released directly into the bloodstream flowing within the blood vessel. Now, through the bloodstream, they are reaching the target cell where the hormone particles, they are bound by the receptors. You can see over here, they are bound by the receptors, and as soon as they bind with the receptor molecule, they unlock the next chain of events which will unfold and bring about the next set of functions in the body. So it is the mechanism of action of hormones, how they are actually produced, and then they travel and then they bind with the receptor to bring about their desired action. Next thing is that effect of over-secretion. So we have understood what will happen due to insufficient secretion of thyroid hormones. Now what will happen due to over-secretion of thyroid hormone? Now when thyroid hormone is secreted insufficiently, it is known as hypothyroidism, where thyroid hormone secretion is insufficient. And in this case, where there is over secretion of thyroxine, this case is known as hyperthyroidism. So hypo means insufficient secretion of thyroid gland, and hyper means over secretion of thyroxine. So what will happen in this case? The thyroid gland will be enlarged because it is highly activated more than required, and the symptoms will include rapid heartbeat, increased appetite, high metabolic rate, and general restlessness, because all the metabolic activities have speeded up. So it will speed up all the metabolic activities. So as soon as you take food, it will be quickly digested, and again you will feel the hunger. Heart rate will be very high, cardiac output will be very high, energy utilization as well as production will be very high. So overall it will lead to the generation of heat also inside your body, because so many activities are going on so rapidly, and overall you will feel very restless, and you need to calm down by taking medicines which will actually help your thyroid to slow down. So hence the importance of thyroxine hormone is very high in our system in order to keep the regulation of the metabolic activities at an optimum level. Coming to the next adrenal gland, that is next endocrine gland, sorry, that is adrenal gland. Now, as I said in the simulation, they are also known as suprarenal glands. They are a pair of suprarenal glands. Now, supra means top and renal, you know, refers to kidney. Since they are situated on the top of each kidney, so they are named in this manner. Now, if I talk about the structure of adrenal gland, the structure of adrenal gland includes an outer coating called the capsule, then an outer layer called the cortex, from where adrenal gland releases the hormone cortisol. And the inner part is known as the medulla, from which adrenal gland releases the hormone adrenaline, which is known as the flight or fright hormone or emergency hormone. You can see here, medulla will secrete adrenaline, named as the emergency hormone or fight or flight hormone. Now, why it is called emergency hormone or fight or flight hormone? Because whenever we are in a state of risk, or whenever we are facing any danger suddenly, or whenever we are overexcited for something special in our life, so in all those cases adrenaline hormone is secreted and the situation is named as adrenaline rush in the body. Whenever there is surge of adrenaline hormone, means sudden spike of adrenaline hormone, so that is called adrenaline rush. So if we are very apprehensive about something, we are expecting something, means which is going to be very gainful for us, or profitable, or bring joy to us, and we are in expecting it for a long time. So in all these cases, this hormone is secreted. Also emergency hormone, because suppose suddenly we face any danger, or we face a critical situation when we need to think quickly, take quick decision and act accordingly. So in those cases also adrenaline hormone is secreted and helps to increase the cardiac output and also supply oxygen to the brain cells, cells of the muscles, so that we can act quickly and respond to that situation and save ourselves from the danger. And talking about the cortisol hormone, so cortisol hormone is produced from the cortex, which will influence carbohydrate, fat and protein metabolism. That means it helps in the digestion of these three types of nutrients in the body, how carbohydrate will be broken down and then reassimilated in the cells of the body as and when required. Similarly for fat and protein also, and also water balance in the body. We know whenever we have excess water, then kidney filters it out and we excrete it in the form of urine. On the other hand, when there is scarcity of water in the body, we do not urinate so much in order to conserve water. So this regulation is brought about by this cortisol hormone. Now, this adrenaline hormone and cortisol hormone, they are secreted from adrenal gland by the signaling sent from the pituitary gland through another hormone called ACTH. The full form for this is adrenocorticotrophic hormone. Right. So this hormone is secreted from pituitary and stimulates the adrenal gland to release adrenaline hormone and cortisol hormone. So, or corticotrophic hormone. So, this is a type of chain reaction. So, as per the requirement of the body, pituitary gland triggers the adrenal gland to secrete these two hormones. Adrenaline is released when facing stress or danger and prepares the body for emergencies by increasing heart rate, blood pressure and blood supply to muscles. And also it really helps to release more glucose into the bloodstream and provides extra strength. So whenever more oxygen will be supplied as well as more glucose will be available, so the rate of respiration will also be high, and if the rate of respiration is high, the rate of energy production is also high, and with the rate of energy production, the action that you are going to take in order to encounter the emergency or stressful situation, so that action will also be taken very properly, because you have got the capacity to deal with that situation. So again, one situation leading to another, a cascade chain of events where the increase in cardiac output, blood pressure, then increase in glucose levels all lead to the increase in strength and energy, which help us to deal with emergency situations. And it is also analogous to putting more fuel into the engine. So the body is actually prepared, but whenever there is the situation to cope up immediately, so you need extra fuel, which is supplied by none other than the adrenal gland. Next, we have the pancreas, and in this pancreas gland, I also stated it is a special type of gland because it is termed as the mixed gland, because it has both exocrine and endocrine function. So it is termed as mixed gland. Due to its exocrine functions, pancreas releases pancreatic juice containing many enzymes for digestion of carbohydrate, proteins and fats in small intestine during the process of digestion. But having endocrine function as well, it has also got a group of hormone producing cells which are known as islets of Langerhans. These islets of Langerhans release two hormones, namely insulin and glucagon. The islets of Langerhans are further subdivided into two categories: the alpha cells and beta cells. The alpha cells secrete glucagon hormone and the beta cells of islets of Langerhans secrete insulin hormone. Now, insulin hormone lowers down blood glucose level by converting glucose to glycogen, which is used for energy or stored for further use in future. So, therefore, you can say that insulin actually helps to use the glucose level which is available in the bloodstream. So how glucose can be utilized? Either it helps in the uptake or it speeds up the uptake of glucose level by the cells of our body. Now the glucose which is taken up by the cells of our body either can be converted into energy through the process of respiration, and that energy, if we are doing some physical work or any other tedious job, then can be utilized instantaneously, or it can be stored also in the form of glycogen. We know glycogen is the stored form of food in the animal body, and the formation of glycogen due to the release of insulin or in response to insulin secretion is known as glycogenesis. Genesis means production, and production of glycogen is known as glycogenesis. On the other hand, glucagon raises the blood sugar level by breaking down glycogen into glucose. So whenever we don't have the constant supply of glucose, in order to break it down through the process of respiration and liberate ATP or energy, so then we utilize the stored form of food, that is glycogen, again, and convert it into glucose, and then this glucose will be utilized to be broken down and then produce ATP. Now this process where glycogen is broken down in response to glucagon hormone is known as glycogenolysis. Lysis means breaking down, and where glycogen is broken down, it is known as glycogenolysis. So one hormone is helping in the production of glycogen, that is glycogenesis, and other hormone is helping in breaking down of glycogen, that is glycogenolysis. So in this manner, we can say that both these hormones, that is insulin and glucagon, are antagonistic in their function, means opposite, completely opposite in their function. One is helping to raise the blood sugar level, while the other one is helping to lower down the blood sugar level. Now, let me give you a fact over here that there are other hormones in our body apart from glucagon which helps to increase blood sugar level, such as cortisol also, then adrenaline also helps to increase the blood sugar level. But there is no other hormone other than insulin which can lower down blood sugar level. So therefore, insulin hormone is of high significance in this regard, that if insulin hormone is not produced properly, or there is insulin insensitivity or insulin resistance, then there is a huge problem, because there is no other alternative of insulin hormone in our body that can lower down blood sugar level. Diabetes mellitus is a disease associated with insulin hormone, and there are two types of diabetes we know as of now, type 1 and type 2. And both of them are caused due to inadequate insulin production or low response to insulin hormone. So what happens, there is slight difference between the two types of diabetes, obviously, that is why they have been categorized differently. In case of type 1 diabetes, the cells or the beta cells of Langerhans, which are responsible for producing insulin hormone, they are impaired, and this is, you can say, a congenital defect, due to which the body is incapable to produce insulin hormone and can be detected right after birth or at a very childhood or very infant stage, because the symptoms start appearing, because if there is no insulin hormone there will be glucose spike, and due to that glucose spike many other symptoms or a group of symptoms which is called a syndrome will start to appear. And when the doctors go for blood sugar testing, obviously it will be detected. So type 1 diabetes is a congenital defect in which the beta cells of Langerhans, they are impaired, and hence insulin hormone is not produced properly in the body or even not produced at all. But what happens in case of type 2 diabetes, which is the most common type of diabetes, that it actually affects at a later stage of life. Earlier it used to affect old people, but nowadays it is many people in the mid age, around late 30s or early 40s, are getting affected. It depends, it is a lifestyle disorder, many of the doctors say, because according to the lifestyle that we lead it can hamper us. But it is also in the family history also. If in the family history your parents or your grandparents have got this, so you are also at a high risk of getting this at a later stage in your life. So what happens in type 2 diabetes is that there is insulin resistance. It is not that the body is not producing insulin hormone at all, but the body will not be able to respond to that insulin hormone and then act accordingly. What should be the response to insulin hormone? The cells should be able to take up glucose from the bloodstream in order to lower down glucose from the bloodstream and then convert it into energy if it is required instantaneously, or convert it to glycogen and in order to store it for future use. But that will not happen despite production of insulin, and that is the anomaly. So what happens in case of diabetes, either type 1 or type 2? The glucose level will be very high in the blood. Excessive thirst will be there because the blood will be very thick, and in order to dilute it or maintain the homeostasis, the body will get thirsty again and again, so that to maintain the homeostasis or the normal viscosity and thickness of the blood, frequent urination, so that the kidney will try to release that excess blood sugar in the form of urine. The more water you take, the more frequently you will have the urge to urinate, and along with that urine, sugar will also be released, and there will be weight loss due to muscle wasting, because due to the deposition of the sugar or the glucose molecules from the blood, the muscles actually they lose their elasticity, and it leads to the weakness or loss of muscle strength, and hence the muscles become very saggy and overall the weight is lost. The consequences is that if it is unmanaged, it can lead to serious health issues. Now, blood sugar or diabetes is known as a silent killer, because once you have contacted blood sugar or diabetes, it brings or it entails a group of other diseases as well. For example, if the blood becomes very thick due to the high level of sugar, then the flow of blood exerts excess pressure on the walls of the arteries. Hence, there will be high blood pressure, that is hypertension. So, along with blood sugar, it will entail the problem of hypertension due to high viscosity of the blood. Then again, when the blood will flow through the narrow blood vessels which are very delicate, such as the capillaries in the brain, in the heart or in the eyes. So due to this excess pressure, there is high risk of the capillaries being burst and leading to internal bleeding, that is hemorrhage. And due to this, sometimes the fatal strokes can take place. Next, cardiac diseases. Due to high blood sugar level, the elasticity of the cardiac muscles also deteriorates, and hence we can get to notice hypertrophy or inflammation of the heart chambers, as well as the loss of efficiency in the pumping capacity of the heart chambers like atria and ventricles. So it will lead to the loss of the cardiac output as well and bring about cardiac diseases. So you can just imagine that from a single disease, how it can engage other diseases also, which are all life threatening. So therefore, blood sugar or diabetes should never be taken lightly and should be always taken seriously and managed at the earliest. How we can manage, since it is a lifestyle disorder in case of type 2, we can monitor our diet and then get involved in physical activities more often so that the sugar level is utilized, and we can check our sleep cycle, the anxiety levels, so that there is no rise of the blood sugar level due to the stress or anxiety. And obviously, medications at the right time and in proper dose and regular checking is another essential key in managing this disease. Coming to the next gland, that is the pituitary gland, which is also termed as the master gland. Now again, in the beginning only, I have told that pituitary secretes some of the hormones which controls the functioning of the other endocrine glands. That is why it is termed as the master gland. Now, pituitary is located at the base of the brain below the hypothalamus because they actually work in sync with one another. So it is positioned at the base and regulate other endocrine glands. The hypothalamus, so let's check this simulation. So this is the picture of the pituitary gland. Now the hypothalamus is connected to the pituitary gland by a stalk. The stalk is composed of a group of nerves and blood vessels. This stalk is known as the pituitary stalk or infundibulum. So you can see that is the hypothalamus, the neurons of the hypothalamus, and the circulation, portal circulation, which will bring about the blood to the, along with the hormone secreted from the hypothalamus. And pituitary gland has got two lobes. The anterior pituitary, which is also known as adenohypophysis, and it secretes many hormones such as growth hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotrophic hormone, luteinizing hormone, and follicle stimulating hormone. So anterior pituitary is also known as adenohypophysis. Growth hormone regulates the growth of the body, the cell division, and the growth of the bones and the muscles along with age. Thyroid stimulating hormone, from the name itself, you can understand it will trigger the thyroid gland to release thyroid hormones, that is T3 and T4. Adrenocorticotrophic hormone, I already discussed, it will go to adrenal gland through the bloodstream and trigger adrenal glands to release the corticotrophic or cortisol hormone and the adrenal hormone. Luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, they act on gonads, that is ovaries in case of females and testes in case of males, and they regulate the reproductive cycle production of the gametes such as egg cells in case of females and sperms in case of males, and in this way they play an important role in the reproduction process as well. So these are the set of hormones released from anterior pituitary. Posterior pituitary. So posterior pituitary is also known as neurohypophysis, and it is the lobe behind the anterior pituitary. It does not produces hormones itself but stores and releases hormones that are synthesized in the hypothalamus. So it is the temporary storehouse of, and according to the need, it actually triggers the anterior pituitary to release all those stimulating hormones. So the releasing hormones, they are secreted by hypothalamus, such as growth hormone releasing hormone, prolactin releasing hormone. So all these hormones are secreted from hypothalamus, and the stimulating hormones such as thyroid stimulating hormone, then the adrenocorticotropic hormones, which are going to stimulate the particular other endocrine glands to secrete their corresponding hormones. So the stimulating hormones are secreted from the pituitary gland. So in this way they work in sync with one another to bring about the normal functioning of the different physiological processes of the body. And with this, we have discussed mostly all the important endocrine glands of the human body. Now, apart from them, there are other endocrine glands also which are situated in the stomach wall, for example, which produces a hormone that stimulates gastric juice secretion. Then we have got ghrelin and leptin hormone, which actually helps to regulate our hunger. Ghrelin hormone stimulates the hunger, and the leptin hormone, it helps in satiation of the hunger. Then inner lining of duodenum, which is a part of small intestine. We know duodenum, jejunum and ileum. So it is a part of small intestine. The inner wall also releases hormone that stimulates bile production. This bile is secreted from liver. It has got the main function, that is emulsification of fat, that means breaking down of large fat molecules into smaller fat molecules so that they can be easily acted upon by the digestive juices and can get absorbed by the body from the small intestine. And the other organs also produce hormones that assist with digestion and metabolic processes. So many other small parts of our body are there which also helps in producing hormones, and overall they all actually function in coordination or in sync with one another to bring about the, as I said, the normal functioning or the normalcy of the body functions. And if any or more than one of them shows abnormal function, then obviously we get to see some symptoms which give us discomfort, and immediately we need to seek medical help, go through the test and follow the medical advice as given, and then only we can lead a healthy life. So that's all from this chapter. I hope I could give you a good insight from this topic. And again, not to mention time and again, as I mentioned in every lecture, should you have any queries, do connect with the Fun Scholar Academy, and we are always there to help you out with open arms. Thank you so much for getting connected, and we'll meet again with another lecture on another chapter. Till then, take care. Bye bye. I am Shushmita ma'am signing off.